You could just sit right in the front, Olivia. I'll save you a trip around the table.
All right, guys. Welcome to everyone in person and then those listening to the September, right? We're in September 2024 Academy Lafayette Board of Directors meeting. Before I ask for a motion to approve tonight's agenda, we've made one small change. Under the governance committee, Dana is going to give us a bond update. So with that change, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We do have someone with stakeholder comments today, and I'm going to ask you if you can come up closer so that everyone can hear.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I was like, I saw her come in. But yeah, if you can kind of move up closer just to make sure that it gets picked up by the intercom.
Do I sit up or sit down?
Yeah, or over here, one of these chairs, that'd be great. And then just a reminder, you probably looked at all of the things, but you have 3 minutes to discuss so that we can keep the meeting going on time.
I am Shanae Davidson Ketchup. I'm a parent of 3 girls at AL, also a substitute teacher here, kind of, sort of. So my question is, how are parents supposed to receive effective and efficient communication from AL leadership when there are parent concerns? So I've read the handbook and it states to send parent bills to Board President Michelle Markham and Mr. Bank. I have sent 7 appeals between March 7th and the 11th, 2024, with no response. These concerns are about staff performance, discrimination about from staff members, bullying, educational concerns, and disparity, even as staff member abusing my child. None of these concerns have been responded to since March 2024. I have sent at least 20 to 30 emails to leadership at Cherry regarding these matters, and yet these concerns remain unanswered. I believe it was the hope that my family and I would not return, but we, as all families, are entitled to a fair and equitable education, especially at a public school. One administrator even stated to me that I've taken the ostrich approach in the past and didn't respond to most of my emails. How is that okay? My daughter was bullied all of last year, and the situation was not handled well at all. It got to the point where my parent concerns and emails were ignored by AL leadership, and the bullying continued. To date, my child is traumatized based on her 3rd grade school year. Additionally, I raised concerns about a substitute teacher that physically assaulted my child and denied her life-saving asthma medication twice in 1 day. Leadership continues to call her and expose my daughter to her despite my repeated concerns of my children being exposed to her. I mentioned her name the other day to my daughter and she just broke out crying and shaking because she broke down in tears, shaking and crying because this adult continues to give her dirty looks and gestures as she passes her in the hallways. Why must my child continue to suffer? My child has also suffered academically because of this and has yet no one has communicated with me regarding intervention, rather continues to say she's doing fine after which receiving her first ever 1 in English last year. I also received a letter about her possibly being dyslexic, signed by the head of Cherry in July, yet we are in September. No one has communicated anything to me in regards to next steps as far as testing as far as what they're going to do for her. I asked her today, has she continued in her ELL with Mr. Carlos? She said she's not seen him yet. So their communication, even to get her an ELL for second grade, was a lot of communication back and forth with the teacher, her second grade teacher. She didn't know what to do, how to do it. So if I wasn't advocating for my child as I continue to do every single day, it wouldn't be right here. And I advocate for my children, not just for me, because I'm a good, strong parent, but what about those parents who don't speak the language, don't feel comfortable speaking? How do they have a voice? And my concerns are being met. Imagine all the other parents who don't have the time to continue to follow up like I do. So yes, I would like my concerns to be addressed and to know what actionable steps will be taken in order to combat the issues of communication and follow through. Bullies aren't born overnight. Okay.
Let me just say that the board will take the information, but they will not respond, particularly cannot respond to publicly about a specific student. So it will be up to the board about how that the response will be communicated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone has read the meeting minutes from last month, and so I just need a motion to approve the August 12th meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And our new PTO president, Jeremy Foster, has an update. Sorry, come close to the microphone. It's better than what
I
else.
say here again?
Yeah, go ahead. You're Nathaniel today.
We can trade the.
I promise to be quick because I'm coaching a team of 7.
Oh,
Okay, so I am president of this year, kind of elect. We're sending out a vote for all the representatives and members of each of the campuses later this week. That's getting confirmed. This year was later than normal with a lot of this in place. Typically April and May, from my understanding, is when a lot of that happens. But so with that, we're kind of finalizing everything for the PTO. Another thing with PTO, just to give updates, we're working out, making some adjustments for a vote for on the bylaws. It's about 3 to 4 years out of date, so we'll send that around for a vote. It doesn't represent the high school campus very well, and there's information in it that just needs to be up to date. And other than that, we have been working. Our first school-wide PTO meeting is September 18th, next Wednesday. Trying to get the word out, trying to get as many people as we can to come. Madam Royce, we're gonna open it up. I've had a wonderful suggestion. We think this year we're gonna try to alternate campuses to bring more people in, which would be helpful. So we're gonna work on that, but it will be next Wednesday here in the cafeteria. A couple of other just real quick things. School-wide, or we've worked and set dates for the dances. They'll go in the calendar. Playground mixture was just set up today, so that will be set up for the calendar for both Oak and Cherry. We're working on dates and specifics for holiday art. About 10 minutes ago, we set a date for Boo Bayou. But basically, just want to give a quick update of what's been going on so far. I'm kind of new to all this, so I'm jumping in and giving the cadence. What would be helpful too is with any of these presentations, what's most impactful to the board in here, let me know and I'll make sure to prepare that for next time. So any questions? All right, thank you.
thank you.
Congratulations, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna run to soccer.
Good luck.
All right, on to governance committee.
Just one quick thing before I hand it over to Dana. I think Kelly Baker has served 2 terms on the board. We have the ability to serve 3 3-year terms, and so she is interested in serving another term. Thank you, Kelly, for continuing to serve on the board. And we just need a vote of the board for Kelly to continue into her 3rd term.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you,
Yay.
Kelly.
You're stuck with us 3 more years.
No parole yet.
All right.
So it's me?
Yeah.
Yep, no.
Okay, so you all may or may not be aware of the fact that the Kansas City Public School District is preparing to put on the ballot in April of 2025 a general obligation bond, or GO bond. There's not been a bond approved in Kansas City in almost 60 years. So it's a big deal. They have assessed their need at just under $1 billion. They cannot ask for $1 billion, they figured that out, and so they're going to likely ask for $494 million. They have contacted charter schools about them participating in the bond, because charter schools do not have the authority from the state of Missouri to ask for authorized bonds. And we have been since May going back and forth about this bond issue. Initially, it was a question of the agreement or MOU to participate in the bond. I will say to you that it's been a long time since I've seen a MOU that didn't have just basic courtesies. Like, if you're asking us to indemnify you, you typically will indemnify us if you do something wrong. So from May until July, we were just trying to get to the starting block of where a negotiation. I think when Noah, who was the head of the Missouri Public Charter School Association, said, "We're done, we're out," they said, oh, what's wrong? And then they gave us just the basics that we were asking for. Nothing moving it past, as far as I'm concerned, past the starting block. They have generously offered to, of the $474 million, they asked charter schools, what do you need? It came back $168 million worth of need from multiple schools. They came back and said, we'll give you $50 million, maybe. They won't even certify that, they won't guarantee that, of that. And so in our last meeting with them, Noah, the counsel for the Charter Association, and all the attorneys who represent charter schools, it's about 5 or 6 of us, we were all on the call with the school district. And we asked the question, how did you come up with $50 million? And we have almost 50% of the kids in this public school district. If you have an answer, I have an answer. They danced around it, over it, through it. You were on the phone, Mr. Bay. Did you find an answer? Did they give you an answer to that question?
Oh, the answer was wrong, because they said it was based on 30% of our needs, because they're serving 30% of their needs. Yet, when they set the $50 million, we had not yet communicated to them our needs.
Yeah.
Which means that was not correct.
So again, and Michelle was on the call too, and so they said that, and I was like, what? So, this is where we are. They are stuck on the $50 million, which they won't guarantee. They're saying that's the most we can get. They have,
Up to.
all the charters together. 8 of the charters are still in the hunt, that are still, like, okay, let's talk about it. I think what has been communicated publicly or their communication strategy has made it sound like we're in agreement, charter schools are in agreement, they're supportive. We will be signing an MOU by the end of this month, early October, and we're all going, are we on the same dimension with each other? And frankly, I am disappointed in how this has been handled, because we all know that if an agreement comes to pass, that will be, if there's ever a bond issue in the future, this is the document they will look at. So this is not just for this moment, but whatever precedent we set, we will live with and live and die on going forward. So I cannot in good faith say at this point, we are still heartily going back and forth with the foolishness, but that's where we are. The Missouri Public Charter School Association is getting an FAQ that they're going to supply. And once I get it, I will send it to Mr. Irvang and Michelle so that they can share it with you all and you can read for yourself. Obviously, whatever information has been passed out by the district doesn't reflect the whole story. And so I just wanted you and parents and whoever's listening, if you're reading things in the paper and hearing things on the news, this is the whole story, not just what folks want you to hear. So that's where we are.
So what I just want to add is up to $50 million for the 8 charter schools who are participating. If you do per student calculation, it is about up to 10,000 students, while KCPS will be receiving 28,000 per student.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's not guaranteed. After the bond, they can come and say, okay, you're receiving 5,000. You can do anything because it's up to. So that's the calculation we're trying to discuss with them and to set like a percentage at least, because but you know it's the first bond for how many years? 50 years. I hope the whole community, school community around KCPS would be working together to make it successful. So it would be unfortunate if the leadership were able to agree on something and make it happen.
The numbers look like this. If that 474 million were approved, and if they go up to the 50 million, that means charter school students would receive 11% of the bond proceeds. KCPS would receive 89%. And our kids would get about $10,040 per student. Theirs would get $28,689. And that's unacceptable. And
will the FAQs be for parents? I mean, are we going to do any education to fail families?
yes.
Well, the FAQs will be specifically for families or to educate families or inform them?
Yeah, well, I think by law the school can do any campaign.
Yeah, we can't campaign, but we can give you the FAQs of what, here's what we got going. And so we can't tell you how to vote, but we can give you the information about it. And we just have gotten to this point because we couldn't even get to the table to have a discussion because we couldn't even get a basic agreement. We still don't have a basic agreement because they will not commit to any term, how much they will give us, what we can use it for, what are the criteria for deciding whether or not they meet the bond requirements. Just nothing, we're asking them for this information so that all the charter schools, not just AL, but all the charter schools can say, oh, we qualify, we should throw our hat in and this is what you're looking at, this is who will decide, not that it's ad hoc, get case-by-case situation, which is what it's starting to feel like. So, they want us to sign off an agreement that really isn't an agreement to do anything except hold you all hostage. And a couple other pieces are, this is a 20-year commitment. So you can't, you wouldn't be able to do things with your property for 20 years. You can't use it for demolition. And the real kicker is you are agreeing that you will not increase your seats. So if you have 500 kids now, you won't have 510 next year. And I think there may be a little margin of error, but you're basically saying we are not going to grow our school. Which is really
that number for how
20 years. Well, I'm not sure about the 20 years, but it's definitely for a period of time that you're not going to grow your seats, which hampers, your ability to do whatever.
Right.
So, and if, we know that charter schools may come to the rest of the state. What if they wanted Academy Lafayette in Columbia, Missouri? Does that mean you can't grow those seats there because of what you committed to here? It's so many pieces to it. And so this is where we are. But I do think that if this doesn't get resolved, that every charter school should have a forum so that parents and the community can hear the whole story and make a decision based on the whole story, not just what they're being fed.
Because voters need to know what they're voting for.
They absolutely
And
do.
it goes back to, I know it's a different thing, but the fix the glitch thing, it's like every student, regardless of the school they go to, it deserves the same funding.
Exactly, and if half of our public school students' parents are footing the bill for this, I think they would want to know how much of this money is coming to their students. That's a real thing, I think, and I think most of the boards and board leadership and schools are committed to sharing with families so they are making informed decisions.
Yeah.
I have no question there. So I still want to know exactly how much money was spent. You said $20,000 students. So it'll be 20 million for 1,000 students.
No. They are, so this is based on 8 schools participating. They've already said, let me say this, they up to $50 million, but that's based on 8 schools participating. If a school or 2 drops out, that number is going to drop too. So that's one of the things, but presuming all 8 schools stay in the game and they get the $474 million, then the way the Kansas School District has parsed it out, our kids would get 11% of that money, or in numbers, $10,040 per student.
$10,040 per student.
Yes, as opposed to the $28,689 per student the district's kids would have access to.
So $10,000 would be about $10 million for us.
14 million for us. If
In the best case scenario, we get the 50 million, the charter school get the 50 million is divided, what check?
It would be divided between eight schools right now.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's like 50 divided by 8?
Well, but based on your student population.
yes.
How
because
many students we have, so it would be the 10,000 times
14
11.
because the 8 schools have around 4,800 students or 5,000 students, which means that each student will be receiving 10,000 for us because we have 1,400, we will be receiving $14 million.
Okay. So even in the worst case scenario, it's pretty much all that.
Yes.
Yes, but you don't know, it's not even, the problem is it's not even guaranteed. If it was guaranteed, you can say, okay, maybe you can work something out, but you can go up to the end, the 40 million become 5 million.
Right.
So,
And you have a 20-year commitment,
Right.
and you can't grow your school.
No.
So all of those pieces,
Yeah.
And so
it's expensive $14 million potentially.
is there, so at this point, the agreement is in discussion, but we have not sign it, there were not committed to signing it, and so you can't get to a terms of reliance, we're just not gonna sign it.
And then we need to make sure families understand what's going on. We need to do that regardless.
You know, Dan, I just did a no tax increase bond percentage for this, Steve, sure, is the one that's probably gonna be handling that bond.
Gilmore and Vale,
I'm sorry,
did you say Gilmore and Vale?
Steve,
Oh, okay.
Steve will probably be the bank that does that represent Kansas City. Another interesting thing is that of that 40 million, we have what we call premium bonds. They will sell your premium bonds. That 740 million on premium bonds is about $61 million on top of that 40 million. So if you're thinking about 494, they're going to sell some premium bonds as well. So that will be more than that 474 million. Plus also, when you do that little tax increase bond, you get that money. You have 3 years to spend that money. Of course, you're not going to be spending that money all at one time. So therefore, they're going to be drawing that interest off of 400-some million. So therefore, now your interest goes up higher, the money that they make off that bond. So I would take some of those things into consideration as well, because you might be just getting the interest that they're making off 400-some million, depending on their contractor and also their architect. If it's a Holliston Miller, or Dow Gordon, Jacob Dennis, something like that, they're not going to start with construction projects because they're going to make interest off that money. And that's a lot of money to be made off for it, so really.
Thank you for that. Notes have been made. It's so many pieces to why this is distasteful at this point. So we'll keep you posted and see if it's worth your time, if it's in the best interest of your students and families.
All right, thank you. All right, what's next on the agenda? Finance.
Right. So first item is accounts payable that we talked about in finance committee meeting. So Amazon, we had a purchase there of just about $14,000. That was high school supplies, the novels that they use, graphing calculators, physics supplies. These are covered by the CSP grant. So just want to let you know that's where that was going. Also, Arthur J. Gallagher, they're our insurance broker. We paid that entity $160,000, excuse me, got millions on the brain. And so that's for the security risk management, directors and officers, e-risk, cyber liability, general liability, so liability insurance. It's $160,000 that we paid in August. We also talked about Great Minds, PBC, that's the French Eureka Math modules. That's a one-time payment for this year, $35,000. And then also we talked about MRH Hearst LLC. They were paid just about $20,000 for armor painting, patching, also moving furniture over the summer months. RAM Solutions, they were paid just under $10,000 for the resealing and caulking that we had talked about during the budgeting process on the south side of the building. That project actually came in under budget, so that was good. We had budgeted $50,000 and it came in significantly lower than what we had initially expected there. Last item there is the Triplet Construction. They're the ones that do our normal mowing. They also had some brush cleanup throughout the summer, and then additional cost for they helped move furniture as well during the summer months, just about $12,000. Does anyone have any additional questions over the accounts payable transactions? If not, we'll need a motion to approve the August 2024 accounts payable transactions.
So,
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, the financial statements. So for July, we spent more than what we received, and if we're looking at just cash in, cash out, the amount of money that went out during the month of July is about $281,000. That's typical, and I'll get to a slide here in just a minute that talks about just historical, how July typically looks. These are the financial statements that our third-party accountant puts together. One thing I wanted to point out here, just on the variances, if you look towards the right-hand side of these numbers, I know there's a lot of numbers there, but towards the top right-hand corner, there's a $175,000 addition, which is a variance. And what that is some E-rate monies that we were expecting to receive in June. So when we were budgeting, we were expecting that to come in June. However, that didn't come in June, but we're expecting it here at the end of this month. So that was for the Chromebooks that we purchased in January that were E-rated, and so we get reimbursed for those Chromebooks. So just in addition to our bottom line there. Also, this is just kind of a recap or a summary from that last slide. Overall revenues were $1.6 million, almost 1.7, and the majority of that is our state monies that we received during July, and then expenses, almost $2 million in expense, and the majority of that's the salaries, including summer school salaries or summer school wages that were paid during the month of July. And so the net there is that $230,000. The difference between the 230 and the 280 is some balance sheet items. So we have payroll liabilities that aren't paid until July. And so that's why there's a difference between 230 and the 280. And so historically, from a cash in, cash out perspective, July's expenses typically exceed the revenues. And so if you're looking at your 6-year average, expenses have exceeded revenues in July by about $323,000. So we're right in line with 280. And so we would expect, though, as we get towards the middle of the year, January, that would kind of balance out where we will have revenues exceeding expenses. But right now, over the next few months, we expect expenses to exceed our revenues. Any questions over financial statements?
Okay, you think I'm fine sitting here? Development committee is going to be hopefully short and sweet. Pam and I met earlier, late last week, and kind of hardened out the development calendar. So if you remember last month, Mr. Banks shared the governance calendar, I believe, and each department or each committee was kind of asked to do a similar thing. So put together this high-level calendar. We will utilize something like this year over year so that there can be visibility at the start and end of each school year on various development needs and events throughout the year. Including items such as, you'll see in July, finalizing our financial data from previous school year. I've listed out each board committee meeting, as well as each start and end of various events like the raffle, peak times throughout the year that we'll be doing fundraising, as well as a new event that we talked about briefly last time, and we'll talk about more next month, the benefits breakfast slated tentatively for February. So just want to make sure that everybody had a high-level view on our development efforts month over month this upcoming school year. Any questions? Okay, and then my last slide here, our cash raffle is starting up. So this is our first fundraiser of the year, and it is frankly our biggest fundraiser of the year, thanks to the hard work that Alix Slasker put in last year and all the people that helped support her. We hit $140,000 for our cash raffle last year. It's a 5-week fundraising event. It's a ticketed event. You vote $5 per ticket. You get a chance to win $10,000. It kicks off Friday, 9/20, so that's next Friday, and we will announce the winner on Saturday, 6/26 at Boo Bayou, which is what the event that Justin was talking about for the PTO. So you'll see here we have a budgeted goal of $100,000. When finance did their budgeting going into the year, they looked at the averages, I think for the last 6 years, 3 years?
3 years, yep.
And made those goals for each of our events and our fundraising efforts. But we agreed that we want to have a stretch goal and make that essentially be our public facing goal. This is because we hit $140,000 last year. we want to be able to strive for that again and do that again. And so really the goal that I'm working towards and the team is working towards is $140,000 for the raffle. So more to come on that in the next week or two, but looking forward to kicking off this year with one of our favorite fundraising events. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the district performance committee met a couple of weeks ago to talk about the teacher retention data and then discuss the strategic academic goals for this coming school year. For teacher retention, how it looks like the one you have up there is our 5-year goals. We were last year at 80%. Our goal is to get to 90% in 2028. And we set the goals of 84% as you see it there. We are at 84.44 this year. And just to break down by campus, how many people, how many teachers we lost last school year. Teachers and counselor and nurses. So that's what we have there. Not the nurses, but counselor, anybody who's teaching with kids. So that's where we are, 84.4. We reached our goals. What we need is we analyze the data and see how we can continue to reach. Next goal is 86% for next school year. We also come up with the reason why people are leaving based on retirement or renewal, relocation, visa, leave, professions. Some of the leaving the professions is linked to also working condition at the same time. One is better salary. The problem we have is attracting people because of our lower salary than around. But generally, people who are with us rarely leave us because of salary, because probably the environment, the working conditions are different. We've seen also people leaving us and wanting to come back too, asking to come back. Move to another district. There's also personal and family reasons. What we've done for this coming school year, we're going to focus on, based on teachers' survey, we'll be focusing on professional development. Is the lowest part for the teacher survey. We've created a professional development committee so that teachers are part of designing and identifying their needs for professional development. The second one is resources. The second one. And the problem with resources is very large. Sometimes it's about hiring a behavior interventionist. It's not really about instructional resources, it's more about classroom renovation or things like having some help if there's an issue in the classroom. So what we've done for every building now, every building has a behavior interventionist or somebody to help the student behavior. We also have a building operation manager and principal and vice principal. Cherry and Oak are sharing one social worker. Our goal is to hire one social worker for each of the building and one behavior interventionist to support teachers. And the social worker will be in charge of school student culture like PBIS and so on, but also supporting certain issues like bullying and so on. But that's our goal, to be where we need to be, hiring one additional social worker so that each of the building will have one.
Do we have a job posting now?
No, it's not in our budget this year. I'm saying that for probably next year.
It seems like that is a critical support to consider that each building has a dedicated social worker, just recognizing we continue to see additional challenges that students need more individualized support on. And this is the first year we have the behavior interventionists at each.
The second year.
It's the second year.
Because a year ago we did a brainstorming of teachers' need. We talked to every teachers organized by grade level and brainstorm what were the issues that they would like the school to address. We go all the way to grade levels, the building, to the top, and we had a meeting with teachers to streamline it and synthesize it and come up with 5 measures I think we need to address. And one of them was behavior interventionist. That's why we hired one for each of the buildings, and shared the social worker. But our goal is to have one social worker for each of the buildings. The second one we did was, as you remember, salary increase. The board voted to increase by 5%. Next year also we are planning to increase again to be more competitive for the teacher salary. And the third one is professional development. We created a professional development committee that would be start meeting at the end of the school year and then building the plan and following it, being involved in managing the professional development budget and professional development activities. So, and last but not least is the resources that we need is more problematic. We need to invest in the classrooms and the environment, but also supporting teachers when there is serious behavior challenges.
So when we set the budget, we actually have increased enrollment since setting the budget. And so if those numbers even out, could we get a social worker this year?
It is possible, but we will know in October.
In October, I realize, you don't know now, but if at all.
So in October, we will know, and hopefully we'll be able to hire one additional social worker. But also invest, especially for the resources, making sure we do. And we'll come back maybe in the October board meeting for approval of additional expenses.
Okay. And then of the 5 that moved to another district, do we have like that next level of information as to why they moved to another district?
So it may be different things. Each case is different. One case wanted a certain position here, didn't get it, is leaving. Some people also change company, go to teach French to another district. We have a teacher who, at the end of July, decided to move to a private school. So those are the issues we're facing. But as I said, we also have every year people who left us and decided to come back.
So this isn't an unusual number, it's pretty typical.
Well, we have been around, remember that last year was 80%, now it's 84%. What we want is go to 10% of attrition of teachers, that's what we want. Some of the issue also is people going back to their home country. We don't have it, for instance, we have 3 teachers who have family issues, need to go back to Europe. You can't do anything about that. We have one teacher whose family moved to California. So those kind of things, you can't do anything about those things. Because you have foreign teachers, they move around. Yeah. And another teacher, after signing the contract in June, decided to go to a private school in California, which is paid better. So those are the issues we face with. What we need to do is investing, of course, continue to invest on increasing salaries and then resources and professional development. So this is a goal I just shared with you. We went from 80, we're going to 84% of our goal next year, 86 this coming year, and move forward. So, as you know, progress is not a linear line, it's going to be zigzag, but at the end of the day, we want to get to 90% by 2028. Any question for attrition and the goals? And this is a strategic goal in our strategic plan. That's why I'm sharing with you. This is the academic goals. As you said, we also set our goals all the way there to 2028. We don't want to get 75% of professional advance. 75% professional advancement will put us among the top 5 school districts out of 540. What do it mean? I would say even top 3, because currently there are only 3 districts in Missouri to get to 75%. That's what we plan to get to overall. But at the same time, remember that we have also a breakdown of achievement by ethnicity, but also by student category, like pre and reduce. How do we move all our kids at the same time for the next 5 years? Subgroups, because DESE also analyze and evaluate district based also on subgroups assessment. Subgroups are all the minorities and pre-reduced and IB students together. So if you see blue means we reach our goals. The goals we'll come back to this once DESE published the test scores. So we don't have everybody's test scores. Remember that in January and November, we make a much more detailed presentation about test scores, comparing our every category of our school, pre-reduced and so on, and comparing them with the surrounding suburban school district. But this is just for goal purpose. So blue is we get it, red is we did not get where we needed it. We didn't have a progress there. It's social studies. Social studies is only tested in high school.
Okay, so that's all high school. Is that's 53%, right?
Yes.
Ah.
But remember also, high school is more complex because we have students coming from everywhere. I would say maybe around 50% of our high school students come from other schools. It's not a continuity. But again, that's where we are. For the rest, ALA, math, and science, we outperform the state because we compare ourselves with the state. We have better progress than the average state in general, but we don't know the other surrounding school district. In any case, what we need to see is we're going this coming school year. The goal is, you see, 25, out of 25, with the goals, that's where we want to be, and then 26, 27, the next 5 years. Any question?
I mean, we did talk about, because to your point, I think as we look at high school data, it is very different because it has a huge impact how well are students prepared before they come to us versus when we look at K-8 data, that gives us a clear indication, how are we doing preparing students? And so when we do the deeper dive, looking at the data and looking at our achievement gaps and our subgroups, looking at it K-8 versus high school is one of the things we talked about in the district performance, because it is really hard to look at one number for the whole system because there are such different things that impact K-8 versus high school. So I think it's important to look at it in that way.
For the next month, it's going to be about, we will be talking about enrollment and demographic.
Right, and retention as well. We'll look at.
Student retention, yes.
Good.
Any other question? Okay. So, spring analysis report. So this is Cherry recognition. Angie Williamson, the art teacher at Cherry. Angie has taken ownership of our PBIS Positive Behavior Support Initiative. PBIS is the program we're using to develop, to improve student culture. She has planned PD days, made videos for teachers, created signage for building, and organized our beginning of the year boot camp for students. Thank you, Andy.
And is that K-8 for PBIS?
K-8, but we're trying to move it also to middle school, so they have a continuity. Middle school has been in the limbo status because a few years ago we decided to go with restorative justice. It costs a lot of money, but you need to have a continuity here also, as opposed to having a different student behavior management system. So the kids coming from Oak and Cherry will not be, how does the phrase say, lost with a different system. We have had PBI for 2 years now. Oak is recognizing new teachers for our gratitude. Sofia Gutierrez Larios, Hayat Saad, Christian Emily, Pierre-Andre Adrien Shuto, Shala Campton, Olivia Mitka, was a former student who graduated from here, for joining the Oak team. We appreciate their positive energy and spirit. Alma is welcoming and celebrating Mary Beach, who is the new vice principal. We appreciate the warmth, energy, and the dynamism of her leadership. Already, she is making a difference of having a positive impact and having a positive impact. Yeah, Mary is good. And extremely helpful. I think we've been a little bit late of hiring a vice principal. I know Dr. Paul will agree with me. It's challenging to handle middle and high school, and things would be much better in terms of supporting kids and supporting teachers.
I do think those supportive roles are so critical to make sure we're meeting the needs of all of our students and supporting our teacher, right? Like there's only so much teachers can do on their own, so having those supports.
Well, I just want to also pay tribute to the leadership of Alma for the last couple of years, having to build a high school and working really hard. Dr. Paul, Liz, and Katie Wilson working together, and Adam joining us. But those three ladies work really hard for the high school, which is new, and did a good job. And Adam supporting middle school. So I'm glad that they have somebody else to help.
Aren't two of the newer teachers former interns that got married? And
Yes.
the teachers, which I just think is a really cool story.
Yeah, we have two former interns who were back at Cherry.
Yeah.
So, as you know, we have our star winners. We're recognizing and congratulating Mary Catherine Marshall for being the star winner in Missouri, in Kansas City.
Yes.
And Robin Kings, who was also a teacher who worked with us and left, and then he's coming back and has been extremely helpful, supporting us with admissions and recruitment lately. She's also teaching journalism and helping with part-time and helping with admissions.
Oh, Robin is back?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, Robin is back.
Yeah.
That is
Exactly.
She is a tremendous asset.
Yeah, Robin.
Lives here.
She has been extremely helpful,
Yeah.
helping Holly, who got married and celebrating the marriage. So Robin was here for the last this week and even before, supporting and helping.
Yeah.
So academic reports, PBI's bootcamp, we just talked about at Oak and Cherry to launch the school year, well with common expectations of responsibility, respect, and safety. Yeah, PBI's help build the student culture and avoid certain situations, help kids cope with certain situations, which is a good one. Teachers making relationship buildings, they're calling parents at the beginning of the school year to make sure that they build a relationship with the parents and engage them. We have Meet the Teachers Night on August 19th and Student Success Night, August 28th. It was very well attended, and I was surprised that even alarmed. Middle school, a lot of parents were here. It's good. Parents Principal Copy is starting for all 3 campuses, which is good, an opportunity to build communication with parents and answer questions. We have been doing it for a few years now. NWA testing is starting on the 16th. Remember that NWA, we test twice in the fall and in the spring. But some schools, elementary, may decide also to test in December. One thing that's new this year is we will be testing our kids in French. The Avant test French based in I think California. We already paid for it, so we'll be testing them twice. It's like an NWA but in French. So it will help us know where our kids are and develop strategies to support them better.
So similar to NWA, it's going to be an online test.
Yes. We also have a new student information system, PowerSchool. The migration has been slower than usual, but because we did not make the decision much earlier enough. So we are still working on the situation, migration from Tyler. Tyler will no longer exist to PowerSchool.
Didn't we used to have PowerSchool?
Yes, it's a full circle. The problem is that PowerSchool, the administration did not like it because of cumbersome of reporting. So we moved to another system, eSchool Core, a small company. Administration liked it, but the teachers don't like it. We moved to Tyler, have a little discussion. Tyler is closing, so we're getting back to PowerSchool. I think this time we're done. We're gonna change it.
And that's what's impacting parents not able to pay toward their meal balances.
That's been fixed. I
It's
started taking
fixed?
payments again this weekend,
Oh,
so.
you want to put something in the newsletter or something, maybe? Yeah, because, yay,
Yeah,
that's great.
the IT department are working hard, and Roger and his team work like crazy. And also need to thank him for this. Yeah. a lot of
It's
work.
very complicated to switch systems, I
It's
know,
extremely
so.
complicated.
I think
And
it's
he has
important
been,
to stick with, and all systems are frustrating, right? There's all sorts of, nobody loves any SIS
that's the
system.
issue. And IT is in the middle of everything. Everybody needs IT. And we have two people. And, everybody wants a piece of it. That's hard. A lot of pressure, a lot of work. And our IT department have been doing a great job. So we've also working with a special education consultant to come and review our protocols and processes for improvement. Hopefully we'll start soon to look at it. And as you know, we have had few challenges at the end of the school year with special education, and we just need to make sure that whatever we need to do is being done, and posting and protocol and so on.
Do we have a sense of how long sort of the audit will take?
I don't know. The problem we have is I sent her an email, connect her with Patty Smith. Unfortunately, I used her Yahoo email, and I didn't hear anything from her, and I contacted her and said, no, she's using a Gmail, so I contacted her again. So hopefully, things will move fast and be done. Hopefully by the end of October, we'll have a good idea what we do.
It would be great to just sort of hear what are the key sort of things that she finds and the key focuses, right, to improve upon supports for SPED students.
Okay. Well, just for give people the board sense of perspective about how we grew our SPED education, the school has made a lot of effort on special education. When I arrived here, how many years ago now? 12 years ago, we had one SPED teacher for 750 kids, one paraprofessional and one part-time speech. I mean, I look at it and I say, there is something wrong. And we start working now. Every building has more than what we had before. Every building has at least two SPED teachers and one speech. We didn't have ELL. Back then we have an ELL for each building now. And paraprofessional was one paraprofessional for 2 buildings, that's what we had. Now you have 2 per building. So we've invested a lot in making sure that we support those kids. At this point, what we need is, we've grown, and hiring sped is a challenge also. Ideally, we want to move to having our own sped people, department, because we have some contracts. But finding teachers has been extremely challenging, especially if you're not paying very high.
And I know that's a challenge for everybody. Hiring sped teachers across all K-12 systems has been challenging for everyone.
Just tell people that the school hasn't made a lot of efforts in supporting ELL, again, and pre-introduced like Title I and SPED. We have every building at least 2 teachers SPED, one or 3/4 of speech, and one full-time ELL teacher at this point.
And I think the things that she said she was gonna look at are processes, our procedures, our compliance, and making sure that teachers have training, so looking into all of that, evaluating all of that with Patty.
I don't know, it will be small.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Hey, it's not just me.
Okay,
I can't see a single number. Luckily, I have it on my computer too.
I'm gonna do it this way. So, I'll do this and then move it around. So, this is the enrollment. We have the enrollment that was budgeted. The budget you adopted in June, that's the green one. And we budgeted for 1,428. The 1,440 is the count, body count. I mean, we went to the classroom and count. I mean, sometimes you have kids who are absent, but sometimes they take into account or no. But on the other data given by admissions based on Tyler and what we have, it's 1,456. But we would rather go with what we count here, as opposed to what is there. So hopefully in October, things will be much clearer.
Because October is the official date that DESE uses, to determine enrollment.
Yes. Any question about this enrollment?
So that compares to the budget, how does it compare to last year, with attrition and that?
For the attrition number?
Attrition from last year, is it going to budget and going to last year?
We will know in October, but preliminary, you remember at the board retreat, we saw things, a lot of green, but then it looks like it's holding, but I don't know. In October, we will see whether or not where we have an issue. So I know it's always between now first grade, 7th grade, and 6th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and 8th grade. So 8 to 9. But we will have a better idea how it's going. But I think it's better than last year. That's what I think. But I until proven, I mean, we need to share it and then know how we are doing.
And so in October, we'll have the official data, and so we'll look at those breakdowns. How did we do on attrition, and retention?
I know in June already it looked much better than previous year, and then I mean, we've lost few, but I think it's still better. But we will know in October. I just want to be very prudent until we have the final number and go from there.
And can you go to the high school one again? Okay. So
enrolled in high school last year.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Pardon?
We have enrolled fewer ninth graders this year than last year.
Yes.
So so at the next meeting, because I think some of the insight too is looking at how many AL 8th graders left and how many AL 8th graders went to 9th, and see if there's something to deal with there?
Yeah, the thing is, when it comes to recruitment, effort should be done also in marketing our high school to our
Yes.
middle school, and we have had in the past a lot of our kids going to Lincoln and followed by their siblings. At the same time, I think we're doing a great job in high school. I saw a parent whose kid graduated gave a fantastic testimony of the school delivering in terms of education. Our kids who are here are doing, now that's something we need to sell to people. Some of our students, and that's where we need to put our effort in middle school recruitment. We have kids from outside want to come, but we don't want to unbalance. That's the problem also. We don't want to unbalance our recruitment in our different grades. We already have stretches this year, and that's an issue. So
Out of the 28, how many are AL versus outside?
we say more outsiders than AL students. I think it's around, I'll go and check it, but I think it's around 40%, something like that. So we need to go and check it, but there's a unbalance already. And that's why, the reason why we're gonna go to the next one about capping, whether the board will agree to do it or not. So any other question here? So this is, I think I can get back to presentation mode. But you see the projection, this is what we projected, was 114. That's what we projected to have, and then this is what we have for the CUP, and the final actual enrollment is 120. So you see, for the projection and the CUP, unfortunately by inadvertent we went over the CUP. That's why I want to have the board to lift the CUP or bring down the CUP depending on the grade level, because if you look at the CUP was 32, and I checked it with the enrollment, they went on 32, but you have still people again waitlist want to get in. But you can't take them all, because you take them all, you throw off all the balance. As you see, you have a wait list of 50 kids that you can take all. But then you have a culture issue and become something else. So that's the dilemma we have. It's not politically correct, but we need to clarify that when we build our school, we will try to make sure that the balance with our students and outside would be okay to maintain the culture. So the green one is where we need to increase the CUP. The CUP in 10th grade was 35. Now we have 40 kids. So.
Because we had 5 new starts this year? Or we had 5 new students start this, like how? So because what we have is some people who applied and was accepted back then, and then we realized there's communication between admissions, and we have some instability in the admission department, and was took 5 more, as opposed to what we put the CUP for.
Because this kids who start high school in 10th grade, so they did not do it somewhere else.
Yes. All the people you see here, wait list, come from somewhere else. They come from another school.
So AL students automatically get into the grade.
And so the CAP means the maximum number of kids we want in that grade?
Yes.
And so you're taking 9th grade down because you don't want the imbalance?
Yeah, we already have an imbalance. That's why I say we give in the 30, but we increase the other one. Another phenomenon we're seeing now is foreign students applying to come, exchange students applying to come, which is great, and we have, I think, 2 or 3 now on the wait list wanting to come. There's another parent trying to work with us to bring foreign exchange students to our high school.
So are they ELL students? They're-
Probably coming from Germany, we have students from Germany, from France, and so on, and Belgium, I think. So, and I don't know if it will be legal or not, the board needed to put a different cap for foreign students or not.
I don't think you can legally do that.
Can you do that?
I mean, I think you have spots available and you do them by lottery. I mean, I think that's what the law says. Dana, tell me if you disagree, but we can't give preference to seats for any students. We just have X number of spots available, and if we have more applications than spots available, it's a lottery.
You can have preference for siblings.
Right, yes.
You can have preference for like a zip code or for a certain zip code because there may be underserved communities, but you can't, beyond those, you can't save seats.
So, but our policy in general and district policies, with regard to foreign exchange students, there is a cap of how many you can take, but not in terms of admissions preference. For instance, for our own policy, you cannot take more than 2 from or 3 from a certain government, from one country. You cannot take more than 2. I mean, we have a policy about exchange student coming.
So you call them a foreign exchange student?
Exchange student, yes, coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we have a cap with regard to how many you're taking, but how many you can take, but we don't have a cap for like preference cap. Let's say local student is 40, but we will take 5 more foreign students. You cannot do that.
Right. I think my understanding is no, you can't do that. You can't set preference for foreign students.
And those foreign students come for 1 year, or they come there?
1 year. 1 year, 1 semester, or 1 semester.
One semester.
Yeah, it can 1 year, it can be 1 semester.
So they'd be through like an AFS service, not just.
There are some agencies taking care of exchange students coming here. And we have some, pardon?
Are we getting money for that?
Yes.
The same per student.
Yeah.
There's
So
no.
there's no extra money, it's just
Right, it's just a
Yeah.
Does it go to the agency, not through DESI, working for?
No, it's agencies. But agencies are recognized, as I said, our own board policy talk about agencies recognized by the federal government bringing kids here.
But then can you count them as the total class, like, and you still count them as the total?
Yeah, well, like 18, yes, yes.
And do they have special needs like accommodation because the English isn't very good, or are they more expensive to educate than other kids?
Sometimes, most of the time, no, except for ELL, may provide. But some of those kids are got their credits, they just want the American experience. Yeah, they're not really after grade, they want the American experience.
They don't get credits here. So they're not necessarily here for their credits with their graduation in the country. So in that sense, they're not being graded with the same amount. I mean, it could be less work.
But the law says we can't give preference, so.
So, any motion and discussion about these cups, the revised cups?
And I think it's always a challenge, the fact that we have more seats that could serve students and we have students wanting to come. So it is always a challenge that I think we have talked about and recognize. But I do think it makes me sad to say this, but I think it is accurate that generally students coming from other schools to Academy Lafayette are not as well prepared. Therefore, the test scores are lower, and that makes our parents believe that we are not providing a good high school education. And so then our parents choose it, right? So it is this unfortunate situation that I think we are in. And so in my mind, it makes sense to do the caps that way to try to keep a balance. But it makes me sad that we have so many students who would like to
Who want
come
to
and
be
can't serve. Because,
So we focus on the ones we can.
right, yes. But it does, I wish it wasn't the case.
All right, so we need a motion to set the enrollment caps for high school as outlined on the screen.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Who was the second? Gwen.
So for operations, we have facilities and transportation here. Rick, do you wanna talk about it? For
Sure. Would you like me over there?
Just for clarity of hearing.
Speak briefly on kind of the operations of facilities here. We're in the process of replacement of the damaged bus. Introduced Stephen and Mr. Bang to Gov Deals, and also there's Purple Wave where you can get other items at other schools that are no longer needing or trying to get rid of. We've been very fortunate that our situation here at Academy Lafayette, we're not looking for bus drivers. As a matter of fact, I just hired another bus driver today that was at another company with 12 years experience. So I think we're pretty blessed with that. I think it's getting out that Academy Lafayette has a pretty good relationship with our drivers, and then we have good students. Academy Lafayette, as you recall, we put our RFP out for other service providers on our custodial services. We went with Citywide, and then with that, my goal intent was to see what we could do in-house, as we know that it's much cheaper if we're to have our own custodial services in-house, and then also we have a little bit more leeway on some of the operations that they can do. We're moving forward with that here at the Armour campus, and if you recall from our last board meeting, that person was recognized from our building principal throughout our staff here at Armour, so pretty fortunate of that. The Hartford insurance audit results, Stephen and I spent 2 days with a gentleman out of Indiana that represents Hartford Insurance, and they do our insurance provider for facilities there. Just kind of give you two major things. It's not esoteric by any means, but we all know that our biggest eyesore is the roof at Oak. And we were on the roof with our insurance consultant from Hartford, and that's an issue that we must address here at Academy of Lafayette. We are addressing some of the dire needs right away, and that is the roof over the library section. I'm in the process of getting 3 quotes. I'll have a 3rd quote tomorrow, and I think we're going to go ahead and proceed with that with Stephen and I and Mr. Bang, that we know that that library needs to be taken care of. And then also there's a section up there in the northeast corner that the fascia was blown off from the storm. But that's just something, a Band-Aid fix for right now. As we move forward, hopefully figure out some different solutions, maybe with our reserves or maybe with the bond. Parking lot barriers for Oak and the Cherry campus. I do know that the Oak parent or the Oak neighborhood will be very impressed that we're going to move forward with this. And it's no secret, you can see if you've been to the Oak campus, they've had those barriers, those swing gates. If you've gone through the parking lots, the exit and the entrance, you'll see that they have those bollards there. The bollards are still there, but some of them are kind of protruding out of the concrete. We'll replace those, but we're going to go ahead and put those swing gates so that we can lock those facilities up in the evening to keep those who are putting contamination fees on our dumpsters, the mattresses and the recliners and the couches, where we end up paying for it from Republic, because they call it a contamination fee of about $450 that they add onto our bill. And we really can't stop that right now because people are coming in. You know, as a matter of fact, I was over there on a Saturday and I watched a car back right up to the dumpster and just started unloading stuff into the dumpster, and it says right there, trespassers will be violated for illegal dumping what can you do? But the main thing is that the neighbors there across the street, as I've had conversations with them, and they were asking for this, is that thank you so much if this goes through, because they're seeing a lot of traffic on the weekends, and then also in the evenings, I see a lot of heads saying yes, 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 and we know that in the wintertime, a lot of donuts and cars, and you can see the remains there. 4th of July, you know, some of those things there, so we're gonna move forward with that, and also with the Cherry campus too, on that back area, in that back parking lot, because it's very easy for them to dump their remains. A lot of times I'm seeing a lot of overfill in the first of the month. Maybe when those apartments are emptying out, people are just, they gotta find a place to put what they don't want to take with them. Transportation, right now, as you know, our routing system, we're looking for better and more efficient ways to route our students. Mr. Bang is wanting us to get up to about 40% of our student population to provide that transportation. And right now, we're just about at 500 students right now that we're providing transportation in the district. TransFinder, it's a routing system a lot of your neighborhood schools use. Once we get that TransFinder, we'll be able to upload our students and do that more efficient. The Oak Library roof and the northeast corner repairs is in the process I just mentioned from our audit from our insurance provider. This past month, we repaired some broken windows at Cherry. They've been replaced. We're getting ready for our inspection at the end of the month for our boilers. We do know that the Cherry boilers are outdated. They were installed in 1995, they're past their life expectancy. We're going to be able to repair some of those, but just kind of putting that on a facility audit. I know that's got a question from the board. You have to do that, you know, with your roofs. You got to stage this out, so we're not hitting all in 1 year trying to replace 2 or 3 boilers and roofs all at one time, and the windows, because it'll add up and it'll bankrupt us. The oak fence, need a repair. We're looking at that. We're getting bids, as you see, as you drive by there, you shower, goes over, see that some of the top rails are off the fence, and you'll see in that also that northeast corner, see all the mulch kind of pushing that fence down to. We've done some repairs, some folks have cut into our fence, we've been able to repair that, but we're in the process of getting some bids on that. And then another thing that is no hidden secret as well. This was brought up by our auditor too, on the insurance aspect, is that we need to start looking at the window replacements for oak. They're rotted. Some places, you know, we have the AC units putting a little bit of pressure on those windows as well. So we need to start forecasting and budgeting for some of those window replacements there. It's just that same thing, you know, you gotta do the roof first, and then do the windows. And of course, you know, you can't do AC until you take care of the windows, some of those things like that. I've had a company come out, I've had various companies come out just with the magnitude of some of those windows and dimensions. What's the best way to tackle that?
Does any of the work being done require board approval? Like, I can't remember what the amount that you can take a bid without board approval.
That's a great question. So the roofs, if we decide to go and do that roof replacement, I've already received 3 bids because I wanted to kind of get a generality of what it was going to cost. We're looking at almost $500,000.
Oh, right.
So our board policy on that, Stephen and I were able to look that up, so Stephen, is that we will have to do a sealed bid. And I'm looking at putting that RFP out because I don't think we can go past spring for a roof with a freeze and a thaw on our roof in the shape that it is in. It's been a long time since we've done any major maintenance on that roof. And all 3 companies that I've had come out, major companies that do major roofs for many of your school districts here, it's a total replacement.
Yeah.
It's not a patch, it's a total replacement. And that's what we're going to do with the library roof, is a TPO roof, a total replacement on that. We're not going to just band-aid that, it's beyond that, because we're throwing good money at bad money.
Right, yeah.
There, with the projects we've already done in that library and some of that facial wall. I want to share a little bit about the operations and the transportation. Right now, we have a total of 12 buses. That's what our new one we just purchased. Right now, we have 2 in service. This afternoon, I just went to pick up our last bus at Masters, and so that'll be running tomorrow, Route 2. But right now, we're serving about 200 students at Armour. Oak, 118, and Cherry about 155, with about a total of 473. September 3rd, we've added about 8 more to our list, so we're approaching about 480 right now that are going to take our transportation. Number of routes. Currently, we're running all 10 routes at Armour. We're running 6 at Cherry, and we're running 4 routes at Oak.
And our students on the bus consistently getting to school, we had such issues with sort of transportation. Where are we in just, getting students where we need them to be on time?
Absolutely. You know, I wish I could say that 100% of every day. I think we have the biggest hurdle, and that is our drivers. We have good drivers. What we're facing right now, we just had a string of bad luck. If you read the newsletter there, we had a couple of flat tires there, and then one of our buses was involved in an accident. It's not our fault. We were sideswiped, so that took us out of commission for a couple of days.
But nobody was hurt.
I'm sorry?
Nobody was hurt.
Nobody was hurt. No, none of our students were hurt. As a matter of fact, there was 4 vehicles that were involved in that accident. Car ran a stop sign, was hit, T-bone, and then that car ran into our stop sign, and then our stop sign on the side of the bus came off and hit the car behind our bus. So we all 4 different vehicles there, but it was not our fault, and nobody was hurt on either 4 vehicles. So, you know, we just had a string of bad luck there with that, and then we're increasing the number of buses that we're operating. And that's a lot of operation when it comes to logistics, students, and the mileage that we're driving. So we're going to have those vehicles in the age-old buses as well. They're going to break down. So we try to do as much PM as we possibly can. You know, we don't have our own garage per se, you know, we're transporting vehicles back and forth. So we're going to have that continuous. But for us to be able to do as much preventative maintenance, we're going to try to alleviate as much of our buses breaking down.
So how are we tracking performance? You hear a lot of concern from parents about buses not showing up, kids staying at school for a long time after they have school. So would it be possible to come up with some sort of daily dashboard so we can track how many buses on time? I mean, something we can make public so that we can see, are we making progress, things are getting better, or is there spots that we need to really address? It can be really valuable to have something like that.
Sure, you know, we're tracking that now. And some of the things that we're seeing this year that we really didn't see last year is that, and we flipped it, you know, now we're taking those elementary kids home first. What we're seeing is that some of those parents aren't ready, or they're not there. And I just had that conversation with Andrew again. You know, we're not going to drop off that kindergarten number at home. You know, it's our policy. We're not going to drop that first grader off when they're at home. So now we're waiting. Now we're not getting a response. Now we got to bring that student all the way back to school. So now it's a domino effect. And I'm not just saying 1 or 2. We had over a dozen that first week. Now you start to think, well, was it their older sibling that was home first and they were watching that child? You know, we've got so many different variables you can take into place and things like that. So we are tracking some of that, and we're also communicating with these parents saying, hey, look, we need you home. Because now we've got 6, 7 other families on that bus, and now it's delaying them as well. But not only is it delaying those that are on that bus, now we come to Armour. Now we're getting the Armour late. Now it's affecting all those parents as well. So we're starting to see, you know, we saw that. Hopefully, we can fix that problem. Communicate with parents. If you remember that newsletter, we had sent out, you know, please make sure that you're home. We sent that newsletter out. It's vital that you're there, and your child is going to be there, and those type of things. Now, our morning routes, we're great. Our numbers, we're getting to the elementary schools on time, and we're getting to Armour on time. It's that afternoon routes that's what's really selling us right now. Now, we know that we have that problem. We have 12 buses, we have 10 routes. Right now, we're going to Armour. What we're going to do is we're going to dedicate those 2 other buses to Route 6 and Route 9. Those are our 2 buses that we're finding delays on the afternoon routes. So once we dedicate that, Mr. Bang and I, we've had that conversation, I want to dedicate those 2 buses straight to Armour, so they're waiting here at 4 o'clock. Because those are our 2 buses, and also those are our 2 longest routes, too. And a lot of people will say, well, how many students are you taking? What's the average bus size and that type of thing? But you gotta understand, it's not like your neighborhood schools like you see in some of your larger schools, Shawnee Mission and Lakeland, where they go to one bus stop on a corner and they're picking up 25, 30 kids. We have a lot of demographics in the sense that we might go to one bus stop and we might get 2 or 3, but a lot of them is, 1 or 2, and that's it. So we're not like some of those larger public schools where we can pick up 15, 20 kids at one bus stop and they're back in 30, 40 minutes. But we are tracking our time.
So we'll be able to share that on a regular basis, so we can,
Yeah.
it's $1 million budget.
Absolutely.
So we can see we actually identify these problems that we need to resolve ongoing, or it's core competence, so we need to make sure that we don't manage those problems.
Yeah, I'm gonna share the next board meeting as well, where we were actually getting the school year, because we know, especially with this shift in times and things like that, with elementary 1 versus secondary, we're gonna have some of those issues. We wanna resolve those issues, so then, like you said, we come to the next board meeting, here's what we had, this is how many students that we had that were not home, and this is where we are, and this is where we are on dropout times in the afternoon. But AM, I think we're sitting pretty good. Any other questions?
And you're starting to use buses for like sports and things?
We have in the past. Absolutely, yeah, we're doing Saturdays, we're doing our routes, our charter routes and things like that. That's not an issue, that's very easy for us to cover. Like I said, we have the biggest problem solved, and that's bus drivers. I've got 2 bus drivers sitting around, I've got 7 bus drivers right now, so we're ready. So for us to be able to fill an extra route, that's not an issue.
Thank you.
The reality is, whether it's popular now, we need to buy 2 more buses. The reason is very simple. It's not gonna go away. 6 years ago, we had 15 routes. We were 1,200 kids or something. Now we have 1,400 kids. And we're trying to run it with 12 buses. So either we invest and get quality because it impacts our student performance, it impacts retention, it impacts many other things, and have a stellar bus transportation. Yeah, it's costly, but I think we're doing better than the surrounding other districts, because if you look at the cost per passes, cost per student were lower than the others. And I think we are the pioneer in doing this, and districts are following us. I have 2 more district charter school doing the same thing. Frontier Light bought 20 buses, they are 1,600.
They bought 25.
25, they have 1,600, like 2,000 students more, 200, like 2,000 more. I'll say 200, sorry. 200 students more than us. You're running it with 12 buses, they're 25. I think we need to understand it's not going to go away unless we decide to service it again. We need to really invest and have good transportation and make it happen. So of course, unfortunately, the electrical bus will be here in a year or so. We still need those buses. So, but that's something that good quality buses. I mean, yes, it's money, but it helps in retention and also student performance and so on. That's what I think. Why I'm talking about that is again, when we built this system, we thought we were going to have dedicated 3 buses for Armour for the long routes, so that we're not double routing it. The shorter routes will go to Brookside and come back and take 2 kids. So I believe that we can bring down the number of routes of Armour to 5 routes, or maximum 6. If you have the dedicated routes, 3 more routes, and we're fine. Cherry, I think we can bring it down to 5 routes and 4 routes. That's what I believe. I know the transportation department will laugh, but I think we can do it. We can do 5 routes, 6 routes, and if you have the buses. Fortunately, we have less challenging finding drivers now. A couple of years ago, we had 2 problems, finding drivers and finding buses. There were no buses anyway to sell. So now, I think it's good to think about it. I'm not asking board to make any decision now, but I'm just inviting people to think about solving this once for all. I hate the morning or reading on Facebook, bus number something is not coming. I mean, it's to remind me, unfortunately, of first student. I don't like that. We want to have reliable transportation and serve kids, and they come in on time and leave. Thank you.
All right, and I just have one thing. We are going to set a standing date for board retreats so that when we get toward the end of the year, we're not trying to find all these, dates. So it's going to be the second Saturday of every month, second Saturday every June. So I'll be putting that on your calendars, but just want to let you know that we're just going to set that. That works great. It's in the time frame that we normally do it. Works great for the school leadership and teachers and staff that we ask to be at it. So that.
So I have just a question maybe that Dana can answer. And when you have parents who come and do a comment, of course the board can answer.
Yes.
But is there any way where the superintendent can give a general principled answer, not answering this question?
Well, it was a bunch of things that went wrong with this comment, because there should never be parents commenting about their student in an open meeting. So when people sign up, do they disclose what they're going to be discussing?
I think they do, though. They do. They tell us what they're going to discuss, and then they have handout.
Okay, so that the board needs to be alerted so that you can say, if it's our understanding this is what you want to discuss, we cannot do that in an open meeting. But it was, if we had stopped her, it would have been a mess. So.
And I don't know how,
I don't know from what she had written on that. I don't know that we would have known from what she had written, because it was communication and bullying. It wasn't.
Well.
Like, how much detail should we ask?
Well, when someone says bullying of who? Because then my student.
Okay, then you.
Yeah, we have to. Communication, what is not being communicated? You do need to ask the question so we don't find ourselves in that spot. I just generally think that the board's position should be we will respond later. Mm-hmm. Because then it becomes a conversation. You say something, and they're like, well, what about this? And then you find yourself in somewhere you don't want to be. So, and you don't want to treat people differently. One person you don't, another person you do. So if it's the standard policy that we will discuss it and then give a response to you.
And so in this case, instead of the superintendent engaging in any conversation, even we just say we need to discuss this.
Well, it's not about, and I understand, I agree with you 100%. It's just that when it comes to board meeting, the whole world is listening, make a comment. The school is not answering, people will go with, this is the facts.
Well, then that requires us to educate.
So and the normal process is, if I'm not happy with the principal, I go to the superintendent. If the superintendent is not answering, I go to the board. That's the normal process. I write to the board for appeal. So at the same time, I want to encourage parents to be able to come and talk to the board directly. I don't have an issue with that. But I'm wondering when people will get out and listen and say, okay, this is the facts, because the school hasn't saying anything about it.
Well, I think that there should be two or three things. One, we need to take time to educate parents on what the board is here to do. This is not their meeting. It's the board's meeting to take care of the board's business. So we're not here to have a conversation with everybody sitting here. That's the purpose of the meeting. So we accept comments, we listen to comments, but that's not our business. Her getting sidelined on her issue wasn't the business of the board meeting, you have an agenda. So that's educating on our part, and that should be part of, when people sign up, we need to know what you're talking about, specifics, and then say, the board is not, this is, the board meeting is there for, we'll listen, but that's not what we're here for. And in the response, you can say, these are the next steps we'll take, but I mean, we definitely were not in a position to respond about an individual student. But I understand your concern, but at the end of the day, that, it is what it is.
Okay.
I do think there should be, we should draft a standard response anytime somebody signs up to say, here's the process. You will have 3 minutes. We are here to listen, but we cannot respond. We will address it after, and you will, right, somebody will follow up with you, sort of that standard. And we cannot hear any individual student, individual tutor, right? That will not be allowed, right? That cannot be discussed.
We will not let you come and talk about an individual teacher's thing.
Right, yeah, so I think we
And I think we have that on the website, but I'm not sure everybody reads that, so we need to just respond with those same words that we have on the
Yeah,
website.
so I think that should
Consistent.
be the standard response anytime somebody signs up, just because parents don't know, right? They're just trying to figure out how to do what's best for their kids, and they're gonna take every way they possibly can, which I totally get. But yes, it's just not, it's not a space that we can respond in.
And I've never seen a board response.
Right, yeah,
And
it's
there's
not,
always, and I've always seen that there cannot be these names. Because some people walk, teacher, or, you can't do that, that's, public settings, so they, who know that there are other avenues.
No major, no traditional public school district ever respond.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we will follow up on this, and just like we do every other parent that comes and speaks, okay. All right, I think that's it. Nothing else after this, right? No closed session.
Now that you just wanna play with.